Hey everyone, welcome to the Week 11 running back breakdown. Starting off at the high end is Zeke going against our favorite team to target running backs against in Atlanta. The Falcons give up the second most points to the running back position at 33, their 31st DVOA versus the run, and the Cowboys have PFF's 6th ranked offensive line on the year. And Dallas also has PFF's second best defensive line advantage this week as well, and they're first in yards before contact. Zeke should have no problem smashing this matchup, and I think we see a huge dose of hashtag feed Zeke. Next up is Saquon Barkley, who gets the pleasure of playing the pathetic Bucks defense. I know his line is terrible, but he's a lock for over 100 total yards with his involvement in the passing game. The floor he gives us is one of the highest in the league, having over 90 scrimmage yards in every single game this season. Tampa is giving up the 10th most fantasy points per game to RBs at 27.7 and our 21st DVOA versus the run. But here's the great thing, their 31st DVOA versus short dump-off passes, which we will see plenty of for Barkley. The last high-end RB I have is Super Camario. I love getting any player I can from this game, and Camario, in my opinion, is the best all-around running back in the league. Philly's not the same rushing defense they used to be, as they are 24th DVOA versus the run this year, and they will be no match for Kamario's ability of rushing and receiving. The Eagles have given up the 9th fewest fantasy points per game to running backs, but this is due to the fact how easy it is to pass on them, and I know the Saints know how to use their players, so Kamara will be heavily involved in both aspects of the game. Okay, so I do not like any of the running backs in the mid-range, so I'm not going to recommend any of them to you, just to put down names. So we will jump a tier down from the elite and look at the mid-range-ish plays. David Johnson, he's coming off his best game of the year versus the Chiefs and gets another elite matchup versus the most pathetic team in the NFL, the Raiders. Oakland is giving up the 7th most fantasy points per game to RBs at 28.5 and are the 23rd DVOA rushing defense. Ever since Leftwich took over, Johnson has finally been used correctly, being involved in the passing game. Even with the Cardinals' offense being terrible, Johnson is the lone bright spot. And CMC, he's been on fire the past couple of weeks. He has 6 touchdowns in his past 2.5 games after only scoring 1 in his first 6 games. The matchup with the Lions is also incredible, as they have given up the 9th most fantasy points per game to RBs at 28 and are 25th DVOA versus the run. He's also going to be on the fast track in Detroit, which I think makes him better, as he's going to be able to make his cuts easier and more crisp and force a lot of missed tackles. The best thing about him is the floor he offers with his large involvement in the passing game. Onto the bargain bin, let's start off with last week's chalk, Dion Lewis. I wasn't too high on him, but I am this week. He's still under 5K and should see 15 to 20 touches in a great matchup versus the Colts. They've given up the 11th most points per game to RBs at 27, and here's where it gets really good. Indy gives up the 2nd most receiving yards per game to running backs, so I think Dion has no problem in this game, as he's always heavily involved in the passing game. So hopefully no more Derrick Henry, and he should be lower owned than he was last week, so let's get him at the lower ownership. I already said what I like Kamara, so I won't repeat myself, but Ingram should be priced near 6K, so this is just a price play. He had a bad stretch of games, but finally broke out last week. I mean, he will see the same workload he has all season. And this is a pretty gross, but if you have to, you can play Alex Collins versus the Bengals. My goodness, is this defense bad? They give the 3rd most points per game to running backs at 32.8. And if Lamar Jackson starts, I think this can only help him. Defenses will be overly concerned about Jackson leaving Collins with more room to run. They're also the 30th DVOA versus the run, and Collins is only 4,400, so you really can't ask for much more there. Alright guys, I'm going to be posting my wide receivers tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that.